My God, I hate drugs. We must protect the people and preserve the nation. And to all of those criminals out there, and to all of those rogue policemen and all, creating hell for us, I have yet sufficient time to correct all of these things. You might not like the way how I correct things, but I would just like to warn you that walang atrasan to. And I am there in the drug war, in front, behind you guys, law enforcement and the military people. And I assure you in front of everybody that I will not allow a single soldier or policeman, whatever be the rank, to go to prison just because he was performing his duty. Di mangyari yan. Not one of you, I promised you, will go to jail. I will never allow it. And I said in this campaign against drugs and there is so many illegal things. I stake my honor. I've been repeating that all these years, even during the campaign. I stake my honor, my life, and the presidency itself. Wala akong illusions about staying there for 6 years or for 4 years, 2 years. What I'm really would like to happen is that by the time I leave, at least I live with a country where the people are just comfortable, period. Not overfed, but neither hungry. And so have so many things to do. And we are trying to do it. I am complying all of my promises. Graft and corruption, I fire people every day, including cabinet members. In the drug war, marami akong, they just don't know it. But the problem with this, some organizations, I'd like to be courteous to them. Gusto ko magmura, but because of the crowd, and in deference to your celebration, you know, look at the newspaper every day. Look at the, I said, PTB4, which is government, to publish how many policemen and soldiers get killed every day, 3, 4, 5, in drug-related violent confrontations. The Marawi itself was precipitated by the service of a warrant against a Maote relative for drugs. And I have been warning the government and people that the rebellion there is being funded by Shabu. It's a chemical that is really intended for the poor. That is why the perpetual attack or complaint is bakit may mga mahirap ang namamatay. You know, the vow now, or the fad, if you may, is really shabu, is intended sa mga mahirap. At doon ang labanan, kasi they do it openly and they do not have the mansions, they don't have the ships and the yachts to do it. Mahirap lang to eh. So karamihan nag-inkwentro. And I must admit that there were abuses. And we go after them. Ba't mo sabihin mo na ipakulong mo yung polis ko kasi nagtrabaho, nagbarila na? You know, I'm a lawyer, and I've been a prosecutor. If you become a client, you're a criminal. All I have to do is to file counter charges of physical abuse. Then the poor policeman has a case to contend with. And when he is suspended, which is usually the case, Kung may kaso ka, whether it is a trump-up charge, a fabricated, or whatever, that policeman gets suspended and the family suffers the lack of food and the stopping of the education of the children. Kaya dyan ako nasasaktan. Dyan ako na and other people go to the other countries and they are being abused, they are being killed. And when they send the money back home, these idiots here, they know. And they would just rub it in like a sore thumb every day until bibigay yung tao. Kaya ako nasasaktan at yung, if a family loses a mother who goes out to work, that family becomes dysfunctional. If the father goes out to work in other places, that family becomes dysfunctional. If the mother and father works abroad, that family is totally unstable, dysfunctional, at iiwan lang yung mga anak dyan sa mga kapatid, yung iba sa kapitbahay, para lang makapag-aral ang anak nila, and they endure sleepless nights, food that is, I'm not attributing to any country. We're okay now with Kuwait. We're okay now with Kuwait. My conditions were met. So they must be guaranteed before I sign the lifting of the ban. And the Kuwait government has shown courage also in meeting our challenge. I demanded that they be allowed to sleep 7 hours, guaranteed. No physical abuse. That their cell phones and passports are not confiscated. And they have a day off once a week. So if these conditions are met, I'll sign the lifting of the ban. And frankly, I'd like to thank officially the Kuwait government for giving us these conditions which would better place in a more basi kunting kaligayahan lang naman sa mga OFW. And I think that would be really, from now on, the conditions, that would be a condition sine qua non before we enter into contracts about our brothers and sisters. Nasasaktan ako. Kaya kayong mga durugista, do not destroy my country because I will kill you. Do not destroy the young of my country. They're just our only resource. Papatayin talaga kita. We are a poor nation. We hardly make both ends meet. Pero pag ginagawa ko, what was this? My father was Chinese Islam. So, kayong mga in-check nakikinig, do not bother being hurt. Pero may mga dyan sa Cebu na mga yumaman sa drugs tapos magyabang pa na. I openly admitted in Congress that I was playing with drugs. But it's a merchandise that you have to be caught with it or in your control. And even if it's just a warehouse, if you are out of it a kilometer away and say, I don't have anything with that, that's it. It's just like a firearm. You must be apprehended with the firearm in your control or position, just like drugs. Because kung wala silang makuha sa bulsa mo, and then they would just go about and proclaim to the world, it's correct. I admitted it before Congress. That also playing with drugs, trafficking of drugs. But wala man kayong with your evidence that I ever had in my possession. You know, if you do that publicly, tapos you flaunt it as if you are the righteous person just because there is no evidence, although you were the one responsible. You know, if I were you guys in Cebu, stay in jail. You want to live longer? Stay in jail. Maghanap ka, look for your own reason to be in jail. Do not go out of that facility. It would not be healthy for you. So I have my peace. And I can assure you that I see a lot of ships there out. And for the little resources that we have, the only thing that we have to aspire is to have more income. I hold it as an article of faith, having been mayor, congressman, vice mayor to my daughter. And all of the 40 years, I would have completed, I never lost an election. If I complete my term as president for 6 years, I would have served government, started as a prosecutor. And in the fullness of God's time, inshallah. Kung hindi, well, alam ninyo na. Although it is not to the liking of everybody, and I don't give a I do not craft my career to the predilections of other persons. I will just finish it. Baka nakikinig yung gumawa nito. We likewise recognize your accomplishments and contributions in humanitarian assistance, maritime law enforcement, counter-terrorism, and disaster relief operation. These noble endeavors have made our kababayans feel safer in challenging circumstances. We are indeed excited. We live in exciting times, and for our armed forces as we further enhance the capability of our Navy. Since the beginning of this administration, I have exerted efforts to upgrade your equipment and artillery, which now include additional 2 units of TC-90 aircraft, 2 units of multipurpose assault crafts, and 1 strategic sea vessel, among others. I am happy to say that the government is currently working on implementing the second horizon of the revised AFP modernization program, which encompasses a number of projects for the Philippines amounting to 77 million. By the way, allow me to just insert something. I don't know if I'm supposed to make it public, and I really do not have a way of knowing whether it would make Esperon happy or not. But in my table, before I left, that's why I was late, because I was reviewing it. Jordan is giving us 2 Cobra helicopters. Those things that we cannot really afford. Maybe in my term. Tapos, you know, there was this, I was criticized by a human rights commissioner, or the highest guy. And he said maybe Duterte needs to go to the psychiatrist. I would have wanted to, but Esperon said, no, do not do it. Maybe, Mayor, you can swallow insults. Anyway, you are doing it almost every day. You are throwing curses, epithets, and all. And the people that you, hindi mo rin sila makaganti, this time I'm asking you to shut up. Why? You know, that high official there is the brother of the king of Jordan. Because I prepared a little, you know, as a, maybe a rebuttal. And he said, please do not do it. Or else I will lose he was the one who worked for it. He's now there in Jordan. So I got this electronic copy for his authority to accept it. And to Jordan, which faces the same problem like the Philippines, it's terrorism. I would have wanted to talk about terrorism and how the geopolitics in this region are played. But I'm willing to have breakfast with your officer and explain my position. why am I adopting this policy? Some of you, the smart ones, alam mo naman, we cannot fight the battle. So what am I doing? What I'm doing? So I do not have time, but I'm willing to talk to you guys, every one of you. Let's have a bullet fight, and I will explain to you how geopolitics is evolving in this part of the region. I will finish by saying, together with the armed forces of the Philippines, I am confident that one day we will realize our aspiration of building a strong and resilient nation. I therefore ask each of you to do your part so that in the next 120 years, we can establish a naval force that will last lifetime, and maybe we can start invading other nations. Again, happy 120th anniversary at mabuhay ang hukbong dagat ng Pilipinas. Congratulations. And my snappy salute.